Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sarah from Trennen, aka Mr. VG, and this is an exciting day. Man, we are getting going with analytical geometry. I think for me, analytical geometry is one of the most beautiful chapters in mathematics. And we are specifically looking at this chapter. And why is it so beautiful? Well, analytical geometry comes from the fusion, can I say? Yes, the fusion, the mixing of algebra, trigonometry, and geometry into one big bowl of beautiful soup by using the Cartesian plane. So when we talk about analytical geometry as this mix of these three things, it can become a very interesting topic. So let's start in this video specifically looking at the distance formula as well as the midpoint. So when we look at coordinate geometry is going to form two parts, lines and circles. Now, the first thing that we have to understand is that lines will be covered in grade 10 and 11. While circles will be covered in grade 12. That's if your school follows the normal CAPS curriculum. Some schools might decide to, mix it up a little bit, but this is the general CAPS formula. So when we talk about the CAPS, in grade 10 and 11, there's a few things that we are going to do. We're going to do the distance and the midpoint formula. And then in the next video, we are going to discuss gradients, and that's going to lead us towards straight lines. In grade 12, we will look at circles. I'm not going to worry about that now. So let's start with the distance formula. When looking at the distance formula comes from the theorem of Pythagoras. But in a nutshell, the distance formula is the following. The distance between A and B is the root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Where will this be used? Well, logic would tell me the length of a side. But where else could this be used? Well, the length of a side could be used to do perimeter of shapes, area, and also trigonometry. Although we don't use it often, but we could use it, especially in grade 11 and 12. So please make sure, grade 10s, that you guys are well versed with the distance formula. Also, the midpoint formula. Now, the midpoint formula is very simple and straightforward. That the midpoint, which is a coordinate, so an x value and a y value, is simply the addition of the x values over 2 and the addition of the y values over 2. Actually, the x value of the midpoint is just the average of the two endpoints. And the same with the y value. It's actually just the average of the y values of the midpoints. But what I love to do, and I'm going to tell you this helps, is to actually split this formula up into two equations. Now, the two equations is, first of all, the x value of the midpoint is x1 plus x2 over 2. The same with the y value of the midpoint. The reason why I choose to split this up is so that I see that I can actually use these to solve equations. In our next video, ladies and gents, we are specifically going to look at the biggest section of this whole chapter, which is about gradients, because it's got so many different applications. So please tune in to our second video, our second theory video about gradients and straight lines. So this is Mr. VG signing out. Keep well, keep safe, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Cheers.